Hey everyone, Roosevelt Cooper from Golden Acacia Gaming here. And in this video, I want to talk to you about how to play a tabletop role-playing game where you are playing as a single character, but you are a part of an adventuring party, but you're only controlling one character, not the whole party. So this is something I have not heard anyone talk about before. It's very possible that people may have talked about this because there's plenty of videos out there about all different types of topics, but I personally haven't heard anybody talk about this yet. So I figured I would do a video and talk about it. So one of the challenges when it comes to playing solo RPGs is you typically find yourself in one or two scenarios. Scenario A is where you are playing the role of a single character. And the challenge with that is for many tabletop role-playing game systems, these systems are designed for adventuring parties to go on adventures. So when you're playing as a single character, you're kind of bucking the design of the tabletop RPG. So you have to figure out ways to get around the design, such as one way is to create a more powerful character than what would typically be used for a particular adventure. Another way is to weaken the enemies. So maybe give the enemies a fourth of the hit points that they would typically have. So that's one scenario. This other scenario is where you are playing as a part of an adventuring party. Now, when you play as part of an adventuring party, you're now more in line with how these tabletop RPG systems are designed, but now you're having a lot more bookkeeping because you now have 4 character sheets as opposed to 1 character sheet. So you typically have to pick one or the other. However, what you may not be aware of is there is a third option. And the third option is you play as one character, but that character is a part of an adventuring party. So how do you do that? Well, if you're using the Mythic Game Master Emulator 2nd edition, there is a built-in mechanic that you can use to facilitate this exact process. And it's called the Fate Questions mechanic. So anytime you have questions about what's going on in the adventure, you would ask Mythic a fate question, such as, does this room have traps? And then you would assign a likelihood of the room having traps, like likely or unlikely or whatever. And then you roll on the fate chart to see what the answer is. Well, you can use that exact same mechanic to determine how the rest of the party responds to your single character. So for instance, maybe you are going through a dungeon and you get to an intersection where you could either turn left or you could turn right. So now if you're controlling all the characters, you can just say, hey, well, you know what? We're just going to go right. However, if you're playing as one character now, you're now technically one voice out of the 4. So your character may want to go right, but does the party agree with you or does the party disagree with you? So what you can do is you can say, hey, you know what? My character recommends to the party that we go right. And then you would roll on the fate chart to see if the party agrees with you or not. And you can assign a likelihood to it. It's likely that they're going to listen to me, or maybe it's unlikely they're going to listen to me because in the context of the adventure, the last time I said to do something, we ended up getting attacked. So now they're unlikely to listen to me. And then you roll on the fate chart, and whatever the fate chart produces, that's what the party does. So if you roll and the answer is yes, then the party listens to you and you go right. If you roll and the answer is no, then the party doesn't listen to you and everyone decides to go left instead. What about combat? You can literally use the same thing for combat. So what you would basically do is you would roll for initiative using the initiative rules for the RPG that you're playing. And then you're only going to roll combat using your RPG mechanics when your character is taking actions or when one of the enemies is taking actions against your character. So for instance, let's say I am playing as a orc barbarian in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, and we get into combat. I roll for initiative. I roll a 15. So I might ask, do I get to go before the enemies? If I roll a 15, I probably will assign that as a likely. If I get a yes, then I will go before the enemies. If I get a no, then the enemies go before me. So let's say the enemies go before me. One of the things I might ask is, do the enemies attack me? And then I'll assign a likelihood. Let's say unlikely. I roll, answer is no. That means the enemies attack the party and not me. Next thing I might do is might want to say, did anybody get hurt? Or probably what I would do, just to keep it moving along, if they're not attacking me, I'm not worried about it. I'll just go wait until it's my turn and then do my actions. If you want to have more control during the combat, like for example, maybe you might want to find out if the enemies are going to attack one of your party members and if they're going to be significantly hurt, you can go ahead and ask those questions as well. Just all depends upon how you want to roleplay it, how deep into the weeds you want to get with the combat. Keeping in mind though, at some point, if you're getting too deep in the weeds, then you might as well just go ahead and play out the combat. What you could do as well, there may be some combats where you just want to get through it real quickly and you can use the fate questions for that. But maybe it might be a boss fight, and for the boss fight, you might actually want to play out the whole combat using the mechanics of your chosen RPG. You could do it however you see fit. So those are some examples of how you can play a tabletop RPG where you're controlling one character, but that one character is a part of an adventuring party. So if you haven't tried that out yet, try it out. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you like it. And let me know if you have any questions about how to go about facilitating that.